I didn't have huge expectations, and I'm pretty happy with the rate we're growing. I didn't want to, I didn't want to come in and just blow it up and then have a bad service experience. And we did that. We did our soft opening, and I went home that night and did not sleep. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
So what's your recommendation? I mean, you stepped in from the world of PPC and SEO into this, and you had that background knowledge.
Yeah.
When you jumped in, it sounds like you went straight into, okay, this is my package I need to do. These are the handles I need to get. These are the domain names I need to grab. What's your advice for that? Like, how did you do that, and what's your advice for other people?
Well, fortunately, having a background in both finance and now digital marketing is great, right? So two big things whenever you're running a business, especially a business like this. Obviously, having a grasp of the financial situation is very important, and being able to market the business. I saw a lot of problems with this place. They did a lot of print marketing, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but and there's some radio they spent.
He just rolled his eyes.
Yeah.
You can't see. Oh,
yeah.
You're on camera. Yeah, there you go.
So, those forms of advertising are somewhat expensive sometimes, and a little bit harder to track your ROI. And so we switched to a strictly online advertising strategy for the meantime. We do have some other print stuff that we were contractually obligated to do, and we'll do that, and that's great. But in the short term, the bang for your buck on social media marketing and online advertising is excellent. So. And then again, for me, the weakness was definitely understanding restaurant operations and, the sheer amount of stuff that just happens inside these walls every day.
Yep. So, as an investor, you're coming from the financial world, and you also do your own personal investments in real estate and stocks and maybe other investments. When you looked at this opportunity, how long did it take for you to think about it, and then take the plunge into this?
I first started talking with Melvin about the deal in January, so it took about 6 months to get to the point where I was happy with what the deal was, and I thought that I could turn it into a successful business. But yeah, it's a lot of work, so definitely spent a lot of time combing over financial statements, trying to figure out where I can save expenses, what the revenues look like. Not to talk too much about Melvin because we're beyond that now, but they were putting up really big numbers, really big gross sales numbers every month, and I was doing projections with numbers that were half of what their top months were, and seeing that I can make this work and make it into a nice profitable business. So
you saw this investment opportunity. You saw there was a lot of probably great things about it, and then there was also some things that were like, oh, holy shit, like what were those things that you said holy shit about?
The sheer amount of capital that I've had to put into it so far has been a little bit eye-opening. Yeah, but it's good, and it's funny because I knew those numbers. I knew I was going to need to put that amount of money in, but once you start writing the checks, it feels a little bit different. So
yeah.
But it's good. So like I said, we in September, I anticipate we will do as much revenue as we did in July and August combined. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's called growth, by the way.
Well, and that's and it's not it's not all on me. It's a big part of the community. The community is coming back, and like I said, part of my favorite thing to do is walk around and talk to the guests. And every day I'm in here, people are like, "Man, I just live down the road, and we're so happy we can come back here," and that's pretty awesome. So, and then to get good feedback on the beer and food is pretty amazing too.
So, let's talk about your expectations versus reality. I know you've talked a little bit about like not knowing really what you were going into with the restaurant industry, but like, what were your expectations once it became yours and it transferred? What were the expectations going into it? Were there none? Were there some? Were there huge expectations?
No, I didn't. I'm pretty conservative. I think that's the banking side of me. So I didn't have huge expectations. And I'm pretty happy with the rate we're growing. I didn't want to. I didn't want to come in and just blow it up and then have a bad service experience. And we did that. We did our soft opening, and I went home that night and did not sleep. I was like, what the fuck just happened? Because the food wasn't good, the service was bad, but I think my expectation was that it would be easier to get it dialed in, and it's just not the way it works. But
it's part of the business is kinks, right? It's just natural, right?
Yeah, and my lack of experience, with going from, I think when I took over, there might have been a staff of 11, and I don't even know where we're at now, 30, 35. So, getting that all dialed in has been much more challenging, but again, the staff's been amazing, so they've done a great job. But my expectation was that would have been easier, and it was a lot harder than I thought it was. But, again, don't give up. Just plow ahead, figure it out, and we did. So.